2 years ago, a good friend of ours passed away, and I purchased this yarn because it reminded me of that friend. I immediately caked it up and began working on this project. And in fact, this project has not changed its original design at all from the moment I began it. However, it's taken me a full 2 years to finish it. I've decided to name it the Autumn Ivy Cowl because it's a cowl and it has this growing leaf design on either end, and it's very autumnal. But what I truly wanted to evoke from this pattern, this design, is not only that sense of mourning and loss that comes in fall. The colors of fall, while vibrant, signify in a way what feels like the death of a year, the end of a year, or the end of a period of time. But also, there's, with that vibrancy of autumn, there is a promise of a second vibrancy in the spring. I've processed a lot of grief, and I have experienced a lot of healing while working on this shawl, cowl, whatever. And I want this pattern to very much also bring you some peace if you are struggling or processing grief, and experience some of the growth, the personal growth that can come from grieving. This pattern is perfect for an adventurous beginner. The most complicated stitch you'll find here is the double crochet 3 together, which you've just seen me do. But overall, the stitches are simple and it's very repetitive. The majority of the pattern is shell stitches with a little bit of a variation on each end to create the leaves. I used 100 grams, which is 1 skein, of a fingering weight hand-dyed yarn. If you check out the blog post associated with this pattern, I will show you varying price points of different types of yarn that you could use with this pattern, so you can make it in your budget or maybe with something you have in your stash. The beauty of a repetitive project like this is that it requires so little strenuous mental effort. Some crochet patterns or knitting patterns are complex and they're thrilling to create. However, sometimes you just want to lose yourself in the rhythmic motion of your hook, the weaving of the colors and the strands, and to let your mind be at peace. And this pattern was definitely a piece that gave me moments of healing and moments to process all that has happened in the last 2 years. The American Counseling Association has listed crochet and knitting as a valid therapy option for those who struggle with depression or are processing grief, and many other situations in which the repetitive motion and the calming action of crocheting has been shown to both alleviate tension in the mind, promote healing in difficult times, and also to strengthen our minds for what might be to come. I hope you take an opportunity today to create something with your hands that helps your mind heal. Whether you go and grab this pattern and create it, or whether you have something already that you're working on, I hope you take some time for yourself and encourage your own healing. The main body of this cowl is created using a shell stitch, which for this particular pattern is 2 double crochet, 2 chain, 2 double crochet, all made in the same stitch or space. That repetitive section is such a great opportunity for your mind to relax. At the beginning and end of each row, you'll use a series of chain stitches, double crochets, double crochet increases, or double crochet decreases to create the shaping of the leaves. They're in fact so much easier to make than I thought they would be when I first looked into crocheting a leaf into my work. They're so simple, anyone could do it. I highly recommend giving it a shot because it is so satisfying to watch them take shape. Once you finish the crocheting of the piece, instead of fastening off and weaving in your ends, I chose to clip a progress saver on my last loop to keep it from unraveling during the blocking process, and then I would just pick up that loop for the seam of my cowl after it's done blocking. I initially began the blocking process, as I always do, pinning down the 4 corners and then beginning to pin out the edges in 1 to 2 inch increments, when I had a sudden realization. I had recently discovered, while watching TikTok, a magical tool called lace blocking rods or lace blocking wires. I'd never seen of them before, never heard of them before, but I immediately ordered some. And I cannot wait to show you this revolutionary way to block simply and effectively. As you see, I'm simply taking the wire and weaving it in and out of the stitches on the edge of my work. Once I finish that, I will do the same process on all 4 edges of this rectangle. Once the wire is placed on all 4 edges, I placed a pin in each corner on the inside of the wire so it pushes them outward, and I was able to create tension that way, stretching out my stitches, opening them up to create and to show off those beautiful lace leaves that we made. Just a quick spritz of water was all I needed to do to finish this blocking process, and now we wait for it to dry. Once the wool is dry, I removed all the pins and simply slid the wires out of the edges and put them away. Instead of using roughly 3,000 pins to create these crisp stitches, I only needed 8 pins and 4 wires. It was such an effective, such a better use of my time. I will never not be doing this. This is the easiest way to block something delicate like the autumn ivy cowl. Once you've finished blocking, pick up the loop that we saved with our progress saver and slip stitch those 2 edges together. These are not the edges with the leaves on them. It is the shorter edge that will be slip stitched together or single crocheted, however you prefer to seam, but only do it halfway to create a notch in the edge of the cowl, and you'll see how I style that later. I styled the cowl with a notch over one shoulder, which gave those leaf stitches space to spread out and to really show off their delicacy. Even though this isn't a very thick cowl, because I used wool, it it is definitely warm and cozy. While I'm here, I'm just going to show you a few of the stickers that are up in our shop right now. These are limited supply. You can find the link for them in the description. We have a lot of stickers and cute things in our Etsy shop.